Yeah, hello everybody. I'm very, very tired now. There was a bit of banging last night actually. I think the couple next door were being a bit amorous, shall we say. I've never heard like moaning quite like it. But anyway, I think it might have been a lesbian. I don't want to sound homophobic, but I think it might have been a lesbian couple because I didn't hear a male voice. But anyway, today I played against young French player, quite a good player actually. C's probably going to be 2300 fairly soon, I think. The theory is quite reasonable, which wasn't the case when I played yesterday. I played, like, my theory against Ivanchuk was pretty poor, but her theory seemed to be pretty good, and I didn't really know the position that well. And when she played bishop b7, I castled. Sorry, I played bishop d2 at some point. I've already castled by this point. And I thought this move's a bit of a bluff because he could just castle, because if rook c1, she can put the queen on b6 and black is going to play c5. What he did was also reasonable. So he went knight f6. A bishop dropped back. And then eventually she played c5. So you've got this position where I've got the bishop pair, but my pawns are doubled. I think objectively it's equal. Maybe slightly better for white. Then we eventually reached this end game where I really should win. And after the game, I was thinking about it, and I went like f3, and she went knight g5. And she's getting a bit short of time, and she put the pawn on f6. It's a very clear plan. It's like telegraphing that she wants to go knight f7 because she's worried about the knight getting stuck on g5. She doesn't want to go knight e6 because it's not ideal, because I've got a bishop on c4. And also got moves like rook d7. So she goes f6. So here, when I was thinking about the game afterwards, without actually checking the engine, I was just thinking about it in my head. I suddenly realised I could have gone rook d7 there. And this is in big trouble because she can't take on e3. So I saw like rook d7 in the game. But I thought, oh, she goes bishop e3. I cut the variation off, right? But then you go h4, the knight's trapped. So after rook d7, she's got a big problem. She could either go rook e8. Maybe she could play like rook c e8. But then I could play something like even just, what was the position? Yeah, I could even go h4 there, and after knight e6, go e4 maybe, with the idea of bishop g3. It's just a tremendous position for white. Basically, black's in big trouble. So I had a very simple winning plan of just going rook d7. I was really frustrated with myself afterwards to play h4. I mean, h4 is a move that you could play. h4 hits the knight on g5, as he has to go knight f7. It's a move you could play in 1 second, so you might as well at least think about the move. And this is the problem that I have, and have been having for several years, and part of the reason why my rating's gone down is because when it gets to the critical moment of the game, I don't take as much time. For some reason, when I've got like less than half an hour, or my opponent's also short of time, I feel like I've got to play at like blitz tempo. But in reality, I've got quite a lot of time. So it's something I struggle with in classical chess. I feel like I've got to play quickly when you've got less than half an hour. But in reality, I had quite a lot of time there. So I started playing impulsively, and I went h4. She defended pretty well after that. Then she went knight f7. And then I think later on I had another opportunity with bishop f7. Bishop a6, which I just basically missed that idea. And I saw it later, but it was maybe a little bit later than when it wasn't quite so effective. So rooks are a little bit stuck. So that was another opportunity. But then we got to this position where she's defending it really well, and she went bishop f6. And I've gone bishop d4. Oh no, that was a mistake actually, bishop d4, because I thought I completely missed her next move, which is rook d8, just swapping rooks. After which is pretty much a dead draw. So what I could do, again, when I was thinking about it later, I was thinking I should just chop on f6. and the engine agreed with me. I just chop on f6 and then knight takes and just play the rook and bishop against the rook and knight. That's what Bobby Fischer would have done. So I've got a problem at the moment that I'm playing too impulsively. I can't slow down in certain situations. It kind of happened to me yesterday as well, a little bit. You know, I had more time. I had all this time left. You know, when you lose a game, you've got like half an hour left on the clock at the end. And you're like, well, why didn't I use that half an hour, right? Like Ivanchuk's got like 4 minutes plus increment, but he's used his time effectively. Same thing today. I mean, I've got loads of time left at the end. I've got oceans of time. Why have I not used that time better? I mean, but fair play. He played it pretty well. I think she's got a good chance. You know, she's only 17. So in future years to be over 2,400. If she carries on improving her theory. She did play slightly strange at one moment when she went king h8. I thought at some point she could try to bring the bishop to e5. And I thought, to be honest, like I didn't really have anything. But anyway, overall she played pretty well. I thought, you know, it was quite a pretty close game, and I did have a couple of chances towards the end which I didn't take, and so it ended up being a draw. I was even worried that towards right at the end, I thought I might even lose because he's got this past h pawn, and I thought if she starts going h4, you know, I mean, it's unlikely you're going to lose the two bishops, but because I was playing so badly by that point, I was quite relieved she offered a draw. But overall, I'm just totally exhausted after this game. After yesterday, after the round, I was totally shattered. Today again, I'm having problems with fatigue in general, and I'm not sure what to do about it. This is the problem as well. When you're tired, it's hard to fight against your like bad tendencies. It's harder, I think, to fight against your kind of like bad nerves and all that kind of. When you're fresher, it somehow becomes easier to kind of fight against these kind of bad tendencies. I think at Hastings, I'm going to have like a Red Bull during the games or something, just to give me some energy. I think this tournament's gone now. The best I can get now is 7.5, which might be some money. I think 7.5 will definitely be some money. 7 might be some money, depending on tie break. If you've got a good tie break, you might win a prize. But even there, even to get 7, I need 2.5 out of 3, which is going to be pretty tricky. I think I've just got to win the last 2 and then roll the dice in the final game. But it's not looking good for me to even win a prize. And I've spent probably, on this whole trip, I spent over 600 euros just on this part of the trip, not even the Benidorm part. I spent over 600 euros on the accom and quite a lot on food and drink because you're eating out every day. Patatas bravas, so I'm putting on weight because just eating desserts and cut out like chocolates and stuff like that. Donuts as well. They provide free food during the round, so you eat, which is actually good for me because I tend to get very hungry during the games, burn up a lot of energy. But overall, it's cost me a bomb to play this, and I'm probably going to get nothing back. I think there was even a blog like a few years ago. This South American GM played in this tournament because last year there was Chessable sponsorship, and I think for a few years they had Chessable sponsorship. They lost Chessable sponsorship because Chessable got taken over by Chess.com and they pulled the sponsorship. So, but he was talking about how even though he finished second in this tournament, he didn't make much money because he had to pay for his flights, and there was also his prize was taxed, and it was just talking to him in general about how impossible it is to make money from playing chess. Now, it's nice to play this tournament. It's in a beautiful location. It's quite a long tournament. It's 11 days. It's very expensive. Don't get me wrong, I'd rather play this tournament than not play it. You play Ivanchuk. It's worth paying 1,200 quid just to get one game against Ivanchuk, right? Because he's a tremendous chess player. And, when you're dead, you don't say on your tombstone that I had 1,200 quid in the bank. It says, oh, I did all these things, went to these wonderful places. That's one of the great things about being a chess player. But it is very expensive. So that's why a lot of these streamers, they're able to play a lot of these tournaments because obviously they give publicity to the tournament. So therefore, they're going to get bankrolled by the tournament. Not all tournaments, but for some tournaments, like sunway sitgès, and they're able to keep in that lifestyle. But I think for most chess players, again, 2600, maybe they're going to get conditions as well. Most chess players like myself, you can't just keep playing these tournaments. Unless you win a Euro Millions or something, you're going to run out of money. You know, I'm not making enough from playing these events. So, yeah, it's a shame, really, because it's nice to hear. Although now I'm getting sick of it. You know, you're getting patatas bravas all the time. You're getting calamari. If I see another bowl of, patatas bravas, I think I'm going to puke. Yeah, after a while, you get a bit sick of the whole Spanish lifestyle in a way. I know it sounds a bit strange. I'm like longing to get back to England. But anyway, that was my game today. Yeah, I think my opponent today, I'd look out for her in the future. She's quite a good player, and I think her theory seems to be fairly decent. So that's always a good sign. You know, your openings are such an important part of chess. I need to lose some weight. I've really become like a real fat person, but yeah. Anyway, that was my game today. I hope you're enjoying watching Sunway sitgès if you are watching this tournament.